Hey, what's good YouTube? This is Tcg Sam here, and I'm coming at you guys today with a locals duel replay where I'm going to be playing at ignisters against probably the best deck of the current format, being P.U.N.K Synchro, current format being right before Power of the Elements comes out. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, be sure to let me know by leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing. But with that, we're just going to hop straight into the duel. We're going to do the die roll, and I do end up winning it, so we do get to go first. If I recall, my opening hand was pretty good here. Starting with the Chi-Chis is the one card combo, but not only that, we also have some other extenders, and we aren't hit by Droll or a hand trap on the Dark Infant, meaning our entire combo, most likely at this point, I thought was going to go through. Our opponent did hold the Ash with the Bakari, which I found that to be very interesting. It doesn't affect us because we already had a handful of monsters anyways, so we're just going to activate the I Meet You to be able to add Doyon and just go about a regular combo. Special summoning out Wicked and Doyon to activating Doyon to add back a Chi-Chi, and our opponent does DD Crow the Chi-Chi, which does cut us off from one final monster at the very end of our combo, but that only really matters if we don't have another monster we can summon off an island, or if we didn't draw one of the ignister extenders. Nonetheless, we're going to continue with our combo. Going into the Transco Talker, Doyon's going to add back I Meet You, special summoning Baruru from our hand to dump Dan Mari to the graveyard. I'm going to activate Kachiri next to be able to summon itself out, special summoning out the Wicked because of the transcode, and then I decide to go into the Dark Templar from there. I turn the Brewer into a copy of the Dark Infant. I probably could have done that a little differently without having to waste the transcode. I don't recall why I did it specifically this way. I probably should have just went straight for Templar at that point, but anyways, we're gonna end up doing our regular combo. I'm trying to think of a way here that I can get both Heat Soul and our Link 6 on the board, but in the end, without the extra extender in our hand, I figured that all I can really do is just make the Heat Soul right now, draw a card, and then just make our towers after that for 4,000 attack. I figure that's the best line of attack. We could also just make a 6,000 one right here, but I decide in the end that 4,000 versus 6,000 shouldn't be too much of a difference against a meta deck, although in hindsight, I probably should have just went for the 6k, because most matchups just won't ever have an out to a 6k one. 4k is hard to out, but not impossible, whereas the 6k is nearly impossible. We were able to set 3 cards. Our opponent's going to activate Pot of Prosperity, banishing the 6 cards. Here, since I don't know what he's playing, I consider negating it just in case he's able to grab a copy of Mystic Mine off it, and I do end up doing that. Since I figured if he had Mine, he would have just used it right away and then try to do his plays from there. He opens the right engine, being able to activate Aramesir, placing Fateful, dumping the Draco back. Giant bounces back one of my set cards, which was the Forbidden Droplets, which is totally fine. Our opponent's last card after summoning Griffin is an Emergency Teleport, probably one of the best cards that he could have in his deck, honestly. He's going to activate the E-Tele to be able to summon out the Zil'amin to the field. And here I'm debating whether or not I should use my Imperm and Forbidden Chalice, because those are the 2 cards I have set. Ultimately, in the end, I decide that regardless of what happens, I'm only going to really have one hand trap or one interruption because of the Griffin on the board. And I figured that I didn't want it to get into the Hulk line. And I thought just a single Deer Note wouldn't do anything on its own unless he specifically tributed off one of his monsters. And I figured that to be able to combo, he's just going to have to do, like I said, Tribute, and that turns off his Griffin. And now, essentially, we have 2 forms of interaction. We're able to stop both the Chaos Ruler and the Hulk of Fibrax. And I figured that was just the best play because we didn't want to deal with the Griffin, force our opponent to commit into the board, and we do end up taking down game 1. Going into game 2, our opponent is going to elect to go first. Our opponent starts with the Emergency Teleport, which is a very, very powerful card. I don't have a way to stop it. He's going to summon out Zil'amin. Zil'amin effect is going to resolve. I don't recall if I had a hand trap here, but usually I try to save my hand trap for specifically the Hulk, just because I don't want him to get to Shooting Riser and dump Snow, because Snow is kind of like the bane of the existence of this deck. Opponent's going to mill pretty well. He's able to grab the Scythe directly to his hand, meaning he doesn't have to go Dagda, and that's going to be quite threatening because now, essentially, he only has to make it Hulk, and he has the Scythe block set up. So activate Prosperity next for 3, activating all copies of the Adventurer stuff, grabbing Right of Aramesir to his hand, activating the right, summoning out the token, and then he is going to be able to place the Fateful Adventurer from his deck face up. He's gonna link away the 2 tokens for Halka-Fibrax. I decide to let it go here. He's gonna grab the copy of Draco back off Fateful, summoning Jet Synchron, turning the 2 into a copy of Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. And then he is going to be able to activate the Faithful Adventurer next to just be able to dump a copy of Enchantress to the graveyard, adding one of the rights back from his grave, because he had gone through all 3 by that point. Sets the Scythe, passes turn. You can see in our hand we have a Chalice, I believe. Chalice Imperm, I think, was my hand. I had the Imperm and I just held it because I figured that it would be enough to stop his Halka-Fibrax play. We Imperm his Halka-Fibrax. Our opponent's going to obviously negate it. I Chalice the Halka-Fibrax. Should have done it the other way so the Hulk doesn't have the 400 boost, but in the end it shouldn't really matter. We start with the normal summon of a Chi-Chi grabbing Bakari, turning that into a copy of Dark Infant, which does get Veilered. Super unfortunate. We do activate the Desires, hoping to draw into the field spell. I don't think we drew into it. I'm not that good of a player, unfortunately, to be able to draw exactly the cards that I need off of Pot of Desires. That Veiler was a really good one. Cutting us off from the field spell makes this so my hand is a lot more awkward, and I have to kind of just hope that my single access good play is going to be enough. I'm going to link off the 2 monsters for a copy of Splash Mage, activating Splash Mage to revive back the Chi-Chi. I let that happen. Next up, I am going to kind of consider my plays. I don't really have many options after this Splash Mage gets stopped. We don't really have the right extenders in our deck to be able to push through this. If you saw a copy of Silent Mining in my hand, it would have been possible for me to do something if I had Microcoder in my deck, but I just couldn't. DD Crow Veiler, it's not much I can really do to stop that. I just really needed that field spell access. Going to game 3, I do let him go first, and this was a really big oversight on my part. I was experimenting with the fact that I assume he would side out his Scythe going first, and I was correct. He would tell me afterwards he did side out Scythe, and you can see he sided for going second, discarding that copy of evenly matched. But what I failed to consider was Fairy Tale Snow. That's a very big part of his combo, and it's very detrimental to mine. That's not even mentioning like the plethora of hand traps he can have while setting up like a 1 or 2 negate board. That can be enough and very difficult for us to push through, even if we have going second cards like Dark Ruler. So he's just going to do his regular P.U.N.K combo, milling pretty well, grabbing a DD Crow, activating the Right of Aramesir to be able to summon out his token, putting Faithful Adventure face up in the field, activating the effect of, linking away the 2 for a copy of Christian Halka-Fibrax to grab Red Rose. And as soon as he summoned the Red Rose, I knew I messed up. I was like, yeah, I don't have a way to stop the snow from coming down, and this snow is absolutely gonna hose me. Because if snow clogs up the main monster zone, unless I have droplets, I'm just not able to really play. Summoning out Roxrose is going to let him grab the Basil Rose Shoot, unless he already had it in hand, I can't recall, but nonetheless, he's able to garner so much advantage at this point. We know he has a DD Crow in hand. We know he has Snow in the graveyard. He has a Hulk, potential Hulk disruption. There's just so many things that we have to deal with, and I just don't really think that it was that right. Like, I keep saying this, but like it definitely wasn't right to let him go first. I should have definitely go second. Went first. He's going to end up using the Jet Synchron, discarding the copy of Draco back, making a copy of Appaloosa, interestingly enough. I don't see many players going for this. Appaloosa really just isn't an issue because we have Dark Ruler, but like I said, the biggest issue is that Fairy Tale Snow. DD Crow can also be kind of painful if he uses it on our Splash Mage or Transco target, so yeah, it's going to be a very uphill battle for us to fight. We're going to start off with the copy of Island. The reason I'm doing that is because it doesn't take up my normal summon, meaning that if he snows this, I'm still going to be able to actually play the game. Because if I start with my normal summon and he snows it, then Ignister Island doesn't matter. I just won't be able to summon anything at all. So I make the copy of Dark Infant, grabbing another copy of Ignister Island because, one, it clears up my extra main monster zone, but also allows me to just grab an extra card to discard later on. Summoning out a Chi-Chi to grab a copy of Hiyari as an extender. That's really important because Hiyari is going to be able to tribute any monsters he sets face down to be able to grab Gachiri. So Hiyari is kind of my way to play around Snow, which is really, really good because Hiyari just needs to tribute a Cyberse monster, and you can definitely do that with the face down monsters as far as I'm aware. Here I'm really considering my plays because I know he has a DD Crow. I can't really his DD Crow is gonna force me to not only use my Splash Rage but also use my Idle Reborn right away. So that means I'm also more vulnerable to like a card like Nibiru. Here I'm going to turn the 2 into Splash Rage anyways because I figured I'm okay if that happens. I'm gonna start by summoning Doyon, trying to add back the Tcg. I'm like, if he DD Crows this, that's fine. He doesn't choose to do so, but what he does do though is activate the Snow on the Doyon is annoying because it prevents me from adding back a AI Spoiler Trap. I'm gonna activate the Splash Rage next, trying to bring back the P.U.N.K, or I'm really gonna consider it because I know the DD Crow is there, and that's my last Ignister name that I can do with the Splash Mage. So yeah, I'm gonna summon Hiyari. Hiyari is going to be able to tribute the Doyon, like I mentioned, to grab Gachuri. So we kind of cleared out the snow, but now we just have to deal with potential hand traps on our opponent's side. I show my opponent what he knows in my hand, and he just does Nibiru. This is just super hard for us to come back from that, especially now because the snow's live again. We know he has the DD Crow, Stopper, Idle Reborn, and yeah, it's just really rough. Our opponent does have like Nibiru, DD Crow, his full comp, like his snow combo. It just really sucks. There's just not much we can really do here, and I know it too. We have a Gachuri in our hand. We have an Idle Reborn, which is just gonna lose out to the Crow. So the best I can do is just make a Link 2 with the Gachuri and the Link Spider that I can make. But that's just not gonna be enough. Like the only hope I have is that he somehow, for some reason, doesn't DD Crow the target with Idle Reborn, which makes no sense. Like, why wouldn't he do that? I end up making the Link Spider, and then from here activate Gachuri to summon itself. And that's not even to mention, like, if he has snow, like, he can just snow anytime, and then I'm just even more dead than I am. From here, like I said, there's just not much we can really do. I'm gonna do my best by trying to use the Gachuri, making the Splash Mage unaffected, and then try to go for a copy of our Idle Reborn. Because like you may as well try in these situations. It is a game 3 situation. Sorry, I realized I haven't used Splash Mage yet, so I guess that's why I was going for this play. I'm gonna chain the Idle Reborn to the DD Crow. He does have another one, not much we can really do there. I set the Cosmic Cyclone in my hand, and at that point, it may as well just be a concession. Our opponent has infinite follow-up, and there's just not much we can really do from here. As soon as we reveal the last card that's set, he knows everything we have. We have the Ignister Island in hand. We're just not going to be able to do much from here. Summoning back the Chaos Ruler, I can only hope that he somehow doesn't kill me, but even if he doesn't kill me, we still need a top deck, like, something, and then a way to play through the snow, which is just super unlikely. Yeah, I was too low on life points at that point, and we just lose from there. Not much we can really do. A big mistake letting him go first, but yeah, you live, you learn. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon.